The FBI says, be careful of fake job postings used to steal your money and personal info. Stay tuned. What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy HD, aka your own TechTual chatter, also the host of the TechTual Talk podcast. And I'm doing the first cybersecurity news thing again. I did one in a while since I think I did one when Garmin Connect went down. But I'm gonna do probably like two articles on Bleeping Computer. And so the first one we're going to get into is about the FBI talking about these jobs that's coming in. I mean, these fake jobs used to try to steal your information. And yeah, that's it. And if you're interested in cybersecurity news and news like this, make sure you're going to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you'll be notified of when I'm dropping new stuff. But FBI warns of fake job postings used to steal money and personal info. All right. Scammers are trying to steal job seekers' money and personal information through phishing campaigns using fake advertisements posted on recruitment platforms. The warning was published today as a public service announcement on the Bureau's Internet Crime Complaint Center, IC3. And yeah, it's a lot of sketchy job postings you'll see. It's crazy. I can't remember what podcast interview I was doing, but I thought about that. It's like, how easy is it for somebody to do something like that? Like, think about it. I could act like I'm a recruiter somewhere and set up a similar job for whatever company, and I can make it look legit, and I can get information out of you. So yeah, let's keep reading, and we'll see what solutions they have and if I agree with them. The FBI warns that malicious actors or scammers continue to exploit security weaknesses on job recruitment websites to post fraudulent job postings in order to trick applicants into providing personal information or money, the FBI says. These scammers lend credibility to their scheme by using legitimate information to imitate businesses, threatening reputational harm for the business and financial loss for the job seeker. Such scams have been around since early 2019, with the average reported losses of almost $3,000 per victim. Man, besides the damage inflicted on victims' credit scores, that's a lot. The federal law enforcement agency issued a similar warning in January 2020, saying that cyber criminals are also began spoofing legitimate company sites to steal job applicants' money and personal identifiable information, PII. Crooks are taking advantage of the lack of strong security verification standards on the recruitment websites to post fake job openings indistinguishable from those published by companies they're impersonating. As Bleeping Computer reported last year, anyone could have created job listings on the behalf of any company on LinkedIn recruitment platform. Yes, and that's the thing. I don't know what they're going to do to fix that. The how CIA triad, authentication, authorization, confidentiality. How are they going to make recruiters and stuff like that verify they are who they say they are? Anybody can set anything up and say they work for a company and scam people, take their money. And say, oh yeah, you got an interview and we'll be hearing from you soon. And when you fill out like W4s and all that, so you gotta give your socials and all that. Like, it's desperate times here because a lot of people are not working. So they definitely gotta look into that some more. So let's see what they say. How to protect yourself from hiring scams. The FBI advises job seekers to verify job ads found on networking sites by reaching out to the company's HR department or on its official site. Now that is true. Like, okay, so most of the time you see a hover up here, Bleeping Computer has a lock. Now, technically a sophisticated person will have a lock on their address bar like it's legit. But if you're feeling like it's too good to be true, research that URL. See how many people talk about it. Throw it in Glassdoor. And see if it's if it's a company that's legit. If it's trying to spoof another company, you'll be able to tell. Try to find the real company's website and compare and contrast. Click on different links, see where they take you. Well, be careful with that because they could potentially get you with some malware or something, clicking on something you don't know what you're clicking on. They also recommended to only provide PII and financial info in person or video call only after verifying their identity. Oh, there we go. One of the more following indicators should give away fake job scammers. Interviews are not conducted in person or through a secure video call. Interviews are conducted via teleconference application. They use email addresses instead of phone numbers. Yeah, especially if they don't have a legitimate Zoom or something like that. Because Zoom, you can use your email or you can use their number to call in. If they don't just have the other option, then they're right. Potential employees request credit card information. That's a big red flag. And no employee is going to tell you to start anything. Hey, look, I'm finna throw my little shot. Network marketers, it's going for y'all too. Require employees to purchase startup equipment from the company. Job postings appear on job boards, but not on the company's websites. Recruiters or managers do not have profiles on job board, or the profiles do not seem to fit their roles. Yes, all that. I'm very leery when people reach out to me about stuff. It doesn't make sense. I think I researched somebody tried to scam me one time on LinkedIn. I don't know why they went to me. They went to the wrong person. The FTC also provides info on how such job scams work. COVID-19 pandemic has directly changed interview and hiring processes, making it imperative that business and job applicants verify the legitimacy of postings and employment opportunities, the FBI added. The FBI urges that the American public use caution when applying for and accepting positions through an entirely remote process, as limited or no in-person means contact and onboarding. Yes, definitely true, man. They did kind of change the game. Scammers having a field day out here, even acting like they're somebody else when they're not. So definitely, let's see. Let me go back to something else. All right, let's zoom in here. Malicious CSV text files used to install bazar backdoor malware. You can open CSVs and pretty like Notepad or something like that. And also, they're open in Excel. You can convert them to an Excel doc. For those of you that don't know what that is, I've never even heard of bazar backdoor. Let's go. A new phishing campaign is using specially crafted CSV text files to infect user devices with bazar backdoor malware. A comma separated value file is a text file containing lines of text with columns of data separated by commas. In many cases, the first line of text is the header or description for each column. For example, a very basic CSV text file containing the capitals of US states is illustrated below. Notice how commas separate each column of data stated. Okay, let's see. Oh, bam, there it is. Yeah, that's pretty much a simple CSV file. As you can see above, the file contains nothing but text, but when loaded into Excel, the data is presented with each line on its own row and the data separated by commas into columns of data. Okay. All right, let's go. However, Microsoft Excel supports a feature called Dynamic Data Exchange, which can be used to execute commands. Hold on, what's right there? Must be a picture of some crap. However, Microsoft Excel supports a feature called Dynamic Data Exchange, which can be used to execute commands whose output is inputted into the open spreadsheet, including CSV files. Unfortunately, threat actors can also abuse this feature to execute commands that download and install malware on unsuspecting victims. Let's see. A new phishing campaign spotted by security researcher Chris Campbell is installing the bazar backdoor Trojan through malicious CSV files. Bazar backdoor is a stealthy backdoor malware created by TrickBot Group to provide threat actors remote access to an internal device that can be used as a springboard for further lateral movement within the network. And in layman's terms, we'll say lateral movement is similar to a burglar breaks into your house and now they're going through all the rooms in your house and they're trying to find valuables or money and they're trying to find something and walk out the house with it. Lateral movement is the same thing. They're going through different accounts, trying to gain different accesses to access different things in your environment. The phishing emails pretend to be payment remittance advice with links to remote sites that download a CSV file with names similar to document 21966.csv. Okay, first of all, look at this. Anytime you see something like that, .nz, .au, and all that type of stuff you don't even recognize, it's a red flag, number one. Just because emails don't normally like that. They normally have like a basic domain. You kind of recognize them from a Gmail. What you got? Outlook, Hotmail, Yahoo, AOL, all those in. You got some people actually have companies. Rule of thumb is if you don't recognize it, you can go throw this domain in something like RobTex or VirusTotal or anything else over here that I got over here. Like I had some other stuff on my Google Chrome, so it's not in there. But you could throw that in there, and then you can actually research it some more. I mean, this is a little not advanced, but if you wanted to do your due diligence and not get taken advantage of by stuff like this. And also, subject re. They never sent you an email before, so it can't say re. Pay attention to that. Good afternoon. Listed below, and also pay attention to grammar, are the paperwork we spoke about a few days ago. Let me know if you got any queries about the attachments. The document even looks sketchy. Look at that. Please find your payment remittance advice attached. Please do not reply to this email. All queries should be directed to invoice.queries@ blah blah blah. So pretty much it's a basic CSV with columns of data separated come below, but this is different from that CSV that it showed earlier. And if you see this, you see it's got a PowerShell process in there. Look at that. And a lot of times what I used to see when I was in the SOC, this will be encoded and you have to decode this, which will let you know somebody's trying to do something they're not supposed to do, especially with how it looks. Look at that. Oh, they open it as admin. It's probably what is this? Notepad++. The astute reader, though, will notice that one of the data columns contains a strange WMIC call in one of the columns of data that launches a PowerShell command. This equals WMIC pipe command is a DDE function that causes Microsoft Excel, if given permission, to launch WMIC.exe and execute the provided PowerShell command to input data into the open workbook. In this particular case, the DDE will use WMIC to create a new PowerShell process that opens a remote URL containing another PowerShell command that is then executed. The remote PowerShell script command shown below will download a picture.jpg file and save it as C users public 877. I'm not reading all the numbers. This DLL program is then executed using the run DLL32.exe command. And before I read any more, this is one of the reasons why they have you guys do your security awareness and want you to take it seriously because of this. Even if you were doing your due diligence with some type of way you weren't paying attention and clicked on something. Granted, if you're in a work environment, it's a little different because it'll potentially already recognize this thing was malicious beforehand and not even let it run. It'll stop it from running. If you're at home, it's a little different. And yeah, you probably got a little bit of too much dip on your chip, pimp. But let's keep on reading because this kind of stuff is interesting. And hey, if you're still in the video, comment below if you like me going through news articles with cybersecurity stuff that's happening. If you like this type of content, please let me know and I'll do more of it. This is informative. Interview tip, when they always ask, hey, how do you stay aware? How you stay current on cybersecurity news? Say, hey, yeah, I use the site bleepingcomputer.com and I have an RSS feed. Subscribe to their security news and you can bring up something recent that came up. They may not know about it, but they'll be okay. This person could particularly bring us something for us to watch out for in our environment in case we didn't already get the IOCs and hashes and everything loaded up for it to block it. So, rule of thumb, but let's keep rocking. IRM-URI, and then it goes to archman.com.wp.content things, Cocoon, master, web fonts, font, awesome, picture.jpg, alpha, $, NV, okay. Start process. Then, we'll start a bazar loader, ultimately deploying the bazar backdoor and other payloads on the device. Thankfully, when this CSV file is open in Excel, the program will spot the DDE call and prompt the user to enable automatic update of links, which is marked as a security concern. Even if they enable the feature, Excel will show them another prompt confirming if WMIC should be allowed to start to access the remote data. So shout out to Microsoft for still doing some defensive depth where just this thing, you have to be really somebody who's not reading at all to keep on hitting enable, or you just have a device like a honeypot type of device where you just want to see what happens. You're in a virtual machine and you just want to see what happens. Remote data not accessible. To access this data, Excel needs to start another application. Some legitimate applications on your computer could be used maliciously to spread viruses or damage your computer. Only click yes if you trust the source of the workbook and you want to let the workbook start the application. Okay. If the user confirms both prompts, Microsoft Excel will launch PowerShell scripts. The DLL will be downloaded and executed, and the bazar backdoor will be installed on the device. While this threat does require users to confirm that the DDE function should be allowed to execute, ADV Intel CEO Vitaly Kremez told Bleeping Computer that people are falling for the ongoing phishing attack. Based on our visibility into the bazar backdoor telemetry, we have observed 102 actual non-sandbox corporate and government victims over the past 2 days from this phishing campaign. Once bazar backdoor is installed, it will allow the threat actors to access the corporate network, which the attacks will use to spread laterally throughout the network. Ultimately, this could lead to further malware infections, the stealing data, the deployment of ransomware. All right, but yeah, guys. So that was it for my first cybersecurity news roundup. I'll think of some title by the time I get on it. That was an actual interesting article, very detailed in length. Shout out to the researcher for providing those screenshots. And guys, you can see how clicking on a link could possibly expose your whole company. And that's what always happens a lot of times when you see these breaches or something like that. It's never something super sophisticated. It's something simple like that, where they just scatter shot and they sent it to people, and somehow their mail products did not catch it and say, hey, this is like fishy, do not let it come into our environment, which is why a lot of security companies, not companies, but the security in companies have become more vigilant against this, because phishing was on the rise since the pandemic, because people are at home and more susceptible to things that are not as focused on not clicking on stuff because they're at home, kids distracted, watching TV. There's a lot of distractions going on. So this will continue to rise in 2022. So just pay attention. Don't click on anything. Pay attention to grammar. Look at the email address. Look at the link that may try to get you to click on. You can always hover over a link and it'll really show you where it goes. There's a lot of things you can do to mitigate phishing, things like that. So appreciate you guys for rocking with me. I had fun doing this, and hey, like they say, let's get textual.